Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over.
So, welcome back to the Unsettled. This is an impromptu episode, a Halloween episode, obviously. Pumpkins, very advertisement. Self-proclaimed pumpkins. Yeah, lovely pumpkins. So yeah, this is a Halloween episode. We've got to discuss 4 cases in this one, and my co-host is going to simply enjoy them, much like you guys are. Anything you want to say beforehand?
No, it's just thank you for all of the flood of subscribers, and
yeah, thanks for that.
We're stepping it up a bit, and obviously when season 3 finally comes around,
which is around December time. No date confirmed, but it will be in December.
Yeah.
We are taking a mini break. We decided to do this, I guess, episode because we literally were thinking we haven't done a Halloween one, so we thought we'd discuss 4 unsolved cases for Halloween, which you guys can now enjoy, indulge in, sit back, relax, maybe laugh at us if you need to.
Yeah, yeah, it's just basically to say that we're on Twitter, we're on Patreon.
Yep.
We're on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So
he's now questioning what social media accounts we're on.
So yeah, we are on social media. So if you've got any questions and other bits and pieces,
or anything you want us to discuss. Any cases that we haven't covered that you might think that we would do, yeah, drop a comment below. But be aware that some of the cases we will be doing will be for season 3. So if you did drop a comment and said, "Hey, what about this case?"
Yeah.
If we don't respond and we just, should we say, like it, could be because it's in season 3.
Yeah.
Basically, because that's all planned out and that's all set now. So yeah. So yeah, just going to get straight into these cases. You'd think Halloween night would be the case where people would get scared, panic attacks, get killed. There should be more murders on Halloween night.
You would think.
I mean, horror movies make it substantial that killings happen at Halloween parties.
Yeah.
No.
Or around the Halloween time of year.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. But no.
Nothing.
It took me a good while to try and find some cases which I thought were relatively interesting, which wasn't so much dampened down. Basically cases with some substance to them, some cases that, I don't know, it's obvious what had happened, and maybe the fact that DNA and forensics weren't as advanced as they are today. So yeah, 4 cases, Halloween episode. Hope you guys had a good Halloween, or if you're watching this, have got some good plans. Stay safe, don't get killed.
No.
But yeah, enjoy the episode, I guess. So the first case, are you prepared for this?
Oh yes.
You sure?
As well as I'm going to be.
Well, you'll like this one.
Okay.
Okay, so the first case we're going to indulge into is the trick-or-treat murder that happened in 1982. Okay, so Marvin Bradland and his wife Ethel had spent the evening handing out candy, it's America, to trick-or-treaters. Their granddaughter Teresa had just left, and as the night was drawing to a close, they assumed most kids were done for the night and started to do other things. Okay.
And then the teenagers come out.
Close. When that last knock came a-knocking.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Ethel slowly opened the door. What?
Ethel.
Her name's Ethel. Yes.
It's a proper old lady name, isn't it?
Oh, Ethel. Yeah, it is.
Was his name Frank?
Marvin.
Close enough.
Right, so as I was saying,
sorry, yeah.
little old Ethel opened the door and saw an adult stood there wearing a pillowcase over his head with the eye holes cut out. No, it's not the Texarkana murders. Close, close. It seems like if you're really hard up, grab a pillowcase.
Yeah, good Halloween, Mark.
You're supporting the Texarkana Moonlight murders, don't fucking do that.
And if you want to watch that video with his, it's in season 2. Anyway,
Nice plug.
talking about Ethel.
Right. The man then said, "Trick or treat," in a low tone.
And she shat herself.
No.
Ah.
It was trick or treat in a low tone.
Mm.
No, give me your money or I'll shoot you.
Oh, that's a new one.
There's no trick there.
Oh, how original.
Yeah. Ethel laughed.
Yeah, well.
When old people get to a certain age, they find everything funny and they don't really give a shit what happens to them. But I think in this case, you should really care. So Ethel laughed, thinking it was someone they knew playing a joke.
As you would at the time.
Good old Ethel and her sense of humour. Although you'll end up hating the bitch in a minute.
She pulled out a 12-point shot him.
She thought maybe it might have been her granddaughter Teresa who had just left playing a prank.
Okay. What, that she suddenly grew like 4 foot?
Ethel then decided to turn around. But not, wait, but not before she tried pulling off the pillowcase.
Okay.
The man held it down, so she still played along and turned around. Right? She turned around to get the bowl of candy, but the trick-or-treater quickly moved inside the home. That's where things take a dramatic turn, isn't it? When the little old lady turns around, she's like, "No, I'm going to kill you now." Not like she could really defend herself to begin with. It's like, wait till her back's turned, she's mine. So yeah, he entered the home behind her. She turned and a gun was now pointing at her. Told you things take a sudden turn for the worst. If that, right, not being funny, right? If my wife was called Ethel, 1, I wouldn't have married her. 2, I wouldn't let her open the door at night time anyway, on Halloween night. And 3, her sense of humour ain't my type either. You think a man with a gun's playing about? Fuck off, you go get shot. Right, her husband, right, went through it. Right, I'll tell you why. The man now began to bark orders. Yeah. He now said, "Ethel, take me to the basement."
How does he know her name?
That's what I'm thinking about, right?
Mm.
Right. He now ordered her to take him to the basement and open a safe.
Ah, see? Now how does he know the safe's in the basement?
Right, listen. Ethel now was somewhat scared and wondered how this man knew about the safe and the basement, let alone her name.
Mm.
Right? The man repeated the order, and now Ethel and her husband, who had just walked in, was stood in shock and decided to do as they were told.
To see their son-in-law with a gun and the mother-in-law.
No, I can see that. No.
Okay.
The couple owned a carpet service business, but was not entirely rich, let alone to be robbed like this.
Mm.
The Broadlands had a safe, and it was actually in the basement, but no one outside of their family knew this, and it didn't. How can I put it? And it didn't hold millions in it, let alone thousands.
No, it was one of those personal safes.
Yeah.
Mm.
By now, Marvin and Ethel had been forced into the kitchen at gunpoint towards the basement. Marvin had had enough. He refused to go along any further with the prank, still thinking it was someone they knew.
Mm.
Marvin went for the gun. The Masked Pillowcase Man, without hesitation, shot Marvin in the throat. The blood splattered across the walls of the kitchen. Right? The man then decided to rip the pillowcase off, maybe in disbelief that he had actually shot him.
Mm.
Ethel screamed. The man dropped the gun and ran out of the house. But
Okay.
Ethel clearly had a good look at him at this point. He took off his pillowcase.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin was quickly transported to the Trinity Hospital.
Yeah.
Then airlifted to a different hospital for an operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he died on the operating table at the age of 69. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, the event took its toll on little Ethel,
Mm-hmm.
and she later died of
Heart attack.
broken heart, more or less. Yeah, substantial. Right. Ethel gave a good description of the killer, 16 to 25 years old. around 5 foot, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Right? The family suspected it was someone they knew, yet not enough DNA at the time to prove anything.
Yeah.
So therefore, the murderer got away. But it was someone in the family, and they can't prove it to this day. And the pillowcase didn't have any substantial DNA that they could carry on further. It wasn't enough.
True. So if you think you'd break it down, you'd have the pillowcase on, you'd sweat. If you didn't know that person that you were going.
Yeah, he seemed to do it pretty calm and collectively. He did seem a bit in shock that he shot him because he took off the pillowcase and ran. Like, oh shit, I've done it now.
Yeah, I can't go back.
It seemed like it was more about, I'm gonna threaten them, see what happens, see if they will take me to the safe.
Yeah.
Turned out he ended up shooting him. Everything went tits up, but they still, like I said, the family knew who the killer was. They just couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
And
You can't go on substantial evidence.
And sadly, you know, like I said, he's probably still alive today. Bit weird, isn't it?
He'd be obviously the
Okay,
same,
so I'm
roughly the
19.
same age.
Yeah, I'm 1988. If this guy was 15, he's probably in his late 50s.
Yeah.
If they were suspecting him between 16 to 25 to 30, around that mark,
Yeah.
it'd be in his 50s or so.
50.
Yeah.
He'd be coming up to their age.
That's kind of annoying, though, don't you think? That your whole family knows who killed, like, say, your granddad,
But no one speaks about it.
but no one's got the evidence there for it, which is a bit of a.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad.
That's
Isn't
a bit of a bummer.
It is a bit bummer. Right, so the next case, like I said, this is going to be a roundup of 4 different cases. Let us know what you think about that one. So that would be obviously the first case in this episode. So the next case, we don't really have babysitters as such over here.
Not really.
Not really. It'd be someone you know, like a family member and so on. But I'm sure in other countries
We don't really have a substantial nanny.
Exactly.
Thing.
But I'm sure in other countries like America, you'd get a babysitter. There'd be babysitter wanted for certain type of things.
Yeah.
Just bear this one in mind for this case. So this case is the murder of Nema Louise Carter. On Halloween night in 1977, the parents of 19-month-old Nina placed their child inside her crib at the Lawton, Oklahoma home. Okay. The next morning, Nema's parents were shocked to discover that she was now missing.
Interesting.
It's pretty interesting, to say the least. Right. Here's where it gets weird. Nema's parents couldn't understand it. The windows in the house was all locked from the inside.
Okay.
Right. Even the front door was locked. Whether it closed and then it locked up on its own, I've got no idea, but they said it was locked. You know, like
you can get those auto locks.
Yeah, you know, whereas if we close the house, we don't have to lock the door because it's locked automatically. I don't know if it was like that or not, but either way, I found this quite weird. Confused yet so far? Okay, it's theorised the abductor stood in the bedroom when Nina was put to sleep in her crib.
Oh, that's weird. That's creepy.
That's good though.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. Not good for the obviously the after effects, but it's.
Yeah.
Imagine putting your child to sleep
and not knowing
there's someone
behind you.
waiting in the corner of the room where it's the most darkest. That's something to think about tonight. But yeah, something like that. Yeah. See. Right. It's a bit weird. Yeah.
But that's not a bit weird, that's a lot weird.
Yeah, so they suspected, or theorised, that someone stood in the room when they put their child in the crib.
Yeah.
Right?
Or was hiding within the room.
And then snuck out silently when the parents had finally fallen asleep. Oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah, right. But how did the abductor get in the house that was locked unless they never went home?
Oh.
Yeah, see? Right. And there
this is going to be like that what was it, like the
Hinterkaifeck.
Hinterkaifeck with the bloke living in the attic.
Yeah. And they remained in the house pretty much all day waiting for you to put your child to sleep.
Or waiting for the opportune moment.
Right. A month later, a group of kids were playing in an abandoned house and they decided to open up the refrigerator in the kitchen. Right?
As you do.
I have. I have to see what
To
smell.
see.
Not the smell, but to see what was in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what did they eat? Maybe not. Like,
Yeah.
run away. As soon as you open like the fridge in an abandoned house, you want to
You're
run.
like,
To be honest. So yeah, some kids were in an abandoned house. They'd opened up a refrigerator, and now, yeah. Best way to put it, really. The house was only a few blocks from Nina's home.
Okay.
As the kids opened the refrigerator, a decomposed baby fell out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's only a couple of blocks away from her home, though.
Yeah. Somewhere close by where he would take whatever back to.
The child was identified as Nema Louise Carter, who had died of suffocation. Now here's the weird bit. A similar crime occurred in April 1976 when 3-year-old twin sisters was lured out of their home by a young woman. They were forcefully confined inside a refrigerator and in yet another abandoned house. Mary, one of the twin sisters, died of suffocation, but Tina, her twin, survived. Right? Tina said her abductor was the local babysitter, Jacqueline. Oh, I'm going to say it's wrong, but it sounds like Rubidico. Okay, we go with that. So it was a local babysitter that lured the twins out, right?
Okay.
However, Tina was too young to be believed, being only 3 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yet no evidence, only that of the 3-year-old, basically, at the time of the case, right? Right, years later, Jacqueline was finally charged with the murder of one of the twins, Mary, right? Yet, despite Jacqueline
She admitted to it.
babysitting Nina, yeah, and they found evidence, yeah.
Right.
So Jacqueline did babysit Nina, and all the evidence pointed to her. The case was never solved, right? Because Jacqueline died of cancer in 2005, and she never confessed. But all evidence basically said it was her, and she had babysitted the child that day, and she waited the time out to kill her.
So she was released at that time.
No, she died in prison.
No, but I mean, like with this one.
Yeah. But she died in prison in 2005 of liver cancer.
And she never
Admitted
to more of.
Should we say she never admitted to Nina or Nema? Yeah. That's weird though. She was babysitting. She didn't go home. She stayed in the house. She waited, and then she silently left with the child just to shove it in the refrigerator and kill it. Yeah.
The
Okay.
only thing I can say to that is.
It's the fact the reason, obviously, like all evidence points to her, but she never admitted it, and she was only locked up for the case of one of the deaths of the twins, right? But she never admitted it, so that's why the case is unsolved, even though all evidence points to her. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
She
So
died
obviously
before.
the twins murder happened before.
Yeah, she was later.
She would then
Yeah.
went to babysit for this,
Yeah,
and
killed
then
that
got
one. She killed that one.
yeah,
Yep.
and then got caught.
Later on with
Later
evidence.
on with
yeah, for
the
the Mary.
first one.
Yeah, but they never.
But she never
Yeah.
admitted, or they never.
Hence why the case is solved, but it's not solved.
Yeah, it's sold
It's-
for one, but not for the other.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The fact she was stuffing them in
Oh,
refrigerators.
that's doing my head.
Why? Oh, you like the next one. So the next case is Cindy Song. She was dressed as a Playboy bunny on Halloween.
Okay.
Okay. Cindy Song was a uni student when she hit the town as a Playboy bunny on Halloween night. Cindy was set to graduate from the Penn State University in a few months. She had moved from South Korea to America when she was 15.
For her studies, I suppose.
Yeah, basically, to further her education. She didn't usually go out midweek, but Halloween,
It's a party for all teens.
yeah. Halloween, October the 31st in 2001 was an exception. So this is quite a recent case. And I did say about recent cases, I don't really do them, but this one is still a bit, So, Cindy had made, or put together, her own bunny costume, complete with bunny ears. Obviously, you're not going to know it's a bunny without bunny ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. A small pink top. Yeah, you can see where this is going. white frilly skirt, knee-high boots, and a makeshift tail.
Mm-hmm.
Standard slutty procedure.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And went with two friends to the Players nightclub. The club was hosting, obviously, a Halloween party, of course.
The Players Night. What a name.
You could tell it was a sausage fest.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, she was out partying and drinking until 2 a.m.
Mm.
She then decided to go back to her friends to play some video games. She then got dropped off outside of her apartment by her friend at the complex, and her friend drove off. Here's where things get a bit weird. Right, Cindy never showed up for one of her part-time jobs. 3 days later, her friends now began to panic, but due to the fact they were always studying, they'd meet up at the weekends. No real panic set in until the fourth day. Yeah, until the fourth day when they finally called the police. Police found no signs of a struggle or forced entry into her apartment. Right. Her false eyelashes she'd been wearing that night were in the bathroom though.
Is it? Okay.
But there was no sign of the bunny costume.
Mm.
But it seemed she had taken off her eyelashes and got into her apartment fine.
Mm.
Okay?
She got in, okay.
Yeah,
And got ready for bed, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Her keys, purse, credit cards and ID were missing though. Yet, her mobile phone was on the side. Police suspected and theorised she had made her way to a nearby 24-hour store close by and then never took her phone and was snatched.
Well, yeah, if you know...
If it's
that-
local.
if it's a local store or whatever, you're going to go, right, oh, actually, I need this, and
I
that.
think she was just probably going there to get some cigarettes and some alcohol.
Yeah, carry on her night in her own way, maybe do some studying.
Or get some food.
Snacks and stuff.
Get some food, yeah.
So you
But
would just take your purse or your bag or whatever
Yeah.
with all your money
So
and
she
everything in.
so she basically entered her apartment, took her eyelashes off, went, oh yeah, I need to get this, and left without a phone.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that, women. Don't
No.
go anywhere without your phone.
No.
Right.
Never
Police-
ends well for anyone.
No. Police looked into basically, how can I put it? Looked into her diary. They found.
Okay.
Okay, in her diary it says that she did use drugs. Police questioned this, and friends said it's just her expressing and using different drugs at uni. The police agreed. I mean, yeah, like most kids.
Yeah. That I can believe.
So cocaine and marijuana and ecstasy tablets were clearly.
It's a chill out, it's a calm down.
Well,
Like for no, because obviously she's the uni experience. But
yeah, I
then
suppose- I
she's
suppose.
she's studying all the time, and then she keeps the weekends for
Drugs.
a release.
Drugs. Right. The police now looked at her mental health.
Mm.
She suffered a severe breakup not too long ago from her
Okay.
boyfriend. Her family said
Probably when the drugs started, to be fair.
maybe. Her family said she may have ran away or committed suicide. Yet her
Mm.
close friends said no way. No way she would have done that. Basically,
Mm.
she was receiving therapy. And why would she take her purse if she was going to go commit suicide?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it seems
You
more
just leave
theorised that she
everything.
went to a local store. To be honest,
Yeah.
right?
And got taken.
Yeah.
On
Also
route.
on Cindy Song's computer, and there was also a Britney Spears ticket that she had purchased that was arriving within a couple of days.
Yeah.
So there was no plan to really top yourself off at this point, and they couldn't really see that happening with this type of girl, I guess.
No.
Right. A curious lead appeared a few weeks later. A female witness came forward and said she was chased off after spotting a woman matching Cindy's appearance 320 kilometres from Penn State, being forced and shoved into a van as she yelled for help. That's 320 fucking miles though.
Well, kilometres.
Yeah, it's more or less the same.
It's a long way to walk for a local shop, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. But
Right.
you don't know. It could be. It's plausible, at least.
Yet, the witness proved dubious. Like I said, 320 kilometres. And the fact that this, should we say, this lead, the story kept changing. So it didn't seem very accurate. Right.
It could be a goodwill of just
Could be.
getting the facts wrong.
So, the family now flew over and tidied up Cindy's apartment, which could have dampened every part of evidence inside her apartment.
Yeah.
Right? And they began to put the pressure on the police, right? Interfering and generally making, I guess, a nuisance of themselves. Because they said that a 13-year-old white girl had 50 FBI agents looking for her, and Cindy only had the one.
They pulled the race card.
Yeah, basically, right. Then, 2003 came a breakthrough. A police informant said Hugo Solinsky murdered Cindy Song with help of Michael
Myers.
Michael Kakowski, I think that's the name. A pharmacist who now ran an illegal drug ring. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think now?
Drug deal gone bad.
Right, so I would like to add the informant was a defendant. So he was a criminal who now had information.
It's not unheard of though. I reckon like drug deal gone bad.
Okay.
Or she was late paying for some certain drugs or whatever.
Maybe. So the informant basically said that Solinsky and Michael saw her walking dressed as a bunny, e.g. they also confirmed she looked like a prostitute.
How would they know that if they didn't hear or...
You'd be surprised. They snatched her up off the street and imprisoned her in a vault to then kill her.
Later on.
Yeah. Right. Police swarmed the Solinsky household and found at least 5 bodies on his land.
Oh, not the first time.
Yeah. And it said that they basically, the tip-off led them to a serial killer and a mass graveyard.
Ooh.
Right. 12 to 13 bodies were eventually dug out. Cindy Songs was not one of them. However, the bodies of Michael Kakowski, the guy who allegedly helped, right, and his girlfriend were found in Hugo Solinsky's yard.
Oh, that's weird.
Right, yeah. Now detectives was looking at possibly the informant, who had on his computer downloaded images of Cindy and articles about her.
This is why you shouldn't have like things in jails. This is why you shouldn't have computers in jails.
Yet nothing about Cindy became apparent anymore, and no evidence, not even the bunny ears, were found. Right. Yet 21 filed pieces of information about Cindy Song remain collecting dust. So I don't think anyone's ever going to find her, to be honest. So,
I reckon she's gone back to Korea, mate. I reckon they're like, no, you're not learning anymore.
that's why the family flew over to collect her stuff to take it
Yeah,
back.
to take it back.
Yeah, that's a quick way.
Tidy up, like, you know.
Oh, we'll get your
Leave it
tops.
the way you found it.
Your education is shit in America. Come back over to Korea.
You've learnt what you need to do.
It could well be. Could well be. But it seems to be that she did actually go out, took her purse, her ID, didn't take her phone because it was local, and someone has snatched her. Whether it was that Solinsky guy, they don't know. But it's weird how the informant tipped off about 2 people who snatched her, who allegedly she looked like a prostitute, and Solinsky had a thing for, should we say, Korean women looking a bit young. We're at the pros and cons. Yeah. What do you think? She got snatched? I reckon she got snatched.
I reckon she got snatched.
Yeah. But whether, or who has her, or whether she died, or...
Whatever happened to her is a massive question mark.
Yeah. But then with 21 case files of her, just don't get me wrong.
It's one hell of a cold case.
Right, don't get me wrong on this, because it may come across that I'm dictating foreign descents of people.
Okay.
Right? But with someone, say, who is Korean,
Right.
And if there are a lot of Koreans coming over to study,
Mm-hmm.
it would be very hard to find one
It would be like
in a certain country like America if she had gone missing.
It would be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
So maybe the parents were correct in thinking, look, hey, you've got, should we say, a white girl who went missing, but you're not focusing so much on this woman or my daughter because she is of a Korean descent.
Whether it be directly or indirectly,
Yeah.
it may or may not happen.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem as many
Well,
cases I've found, it's usually a white person has more attention than other people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more. I would probably direct it more as a citizen
Yeah.
has peripheral over
Should we say
a non-citizen.
yeah. Cool, you're choosing your words very correctly.
It is a minefield, I will tell you.
It is, but what I'm trying to get at is it would be easier
Yeah, it would.
to publicise and people can relate to a white girl rather than say a Korean woman.
Yeah.
Whereas if it happened in Korea and it was a white person, that wouldn't gather
would.
so much attention either.
It would, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
It
So,
would be more of the reverse.
My theory on that is simply the fact she would be hard to find if there is a lot of foreign students coming over
Yeah.
and someone
Or
did
within the area.
and someone did snatch her and took her to a different state. It would be very hard
It would be very hard.
because there might not be any distinguishing features other than the fact she is Korean. And if there is a lot of Korean students coming over or different foreign students coming over, it would be
Or
very
around
difficult
that
to go,
area, yeah.
oh yeah, you're Cindy Song, you're from Penn State University, and
Yeah.
it'd be very like if you saw her out in the street, you wouldn't think, oh, that's her, because she's very similar to other Korean people.
Yeah.
That was hard. Right.
Minefield, I told you.
The last case, sir.
Right.
The last case. The disappearance of Stephen Damman.
Okay.
Right, now tell me in the first instances of this, what runs through your head straight away? You're going to hate me for this case. Right. So, on Halloween night, 1955, Marilyn Damman took her 2-year-old son, Stephen, and 7-month-old daughter, Pamela, to the supermarket in East Meadow. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Right.
In New York, right? I just
Okay.
want to make sure you got this clear.
Right.
Right. While she went shopping, Marilyn
Forgot
left.
the kids.
No, Marilyn left Stephen
Right. In the car.
outside.
Oh. Tied to a post.
No. With his sister
Right.
in the carriage while she
Okay.
went into a shop.
Okay. It's weird.
Why? I have no idea.
Maybe they were just too needy.
Maybe it seems a bit weird that she left her kids outside. A 2-year-old and a what did I say?
Yeah.
Like 7-month-old daughter in a pram outside in the shop.
Okay, that
Just
is
leave them
weird.
outside.
No, that is weird.
See, right, yeah, right. Anyway, 10 minutes later, Marilyn left the store and was shocked
Oh, really?
to find to find Stephen and the baby carriage missing.
Shocked, I wonder.
Shortly after,
Was the daughter still there?
right, listen. Shortly after, the baby carriage was found, and Pamela was still inside it. Yet Stephen was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, that's weird.
So they took one child, not two.
Mm.
Right? What do you think so far?
It's too early to tell.
Okay. Over the years, DNA testing has been utilised,
Mm-hmm.
and to check if Stephen had been snatched and gone under a different name.
Yeah.
Okay. Most cases that happen like this is about people snatching kids that can't have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go out. They're looking for. It's basically a shopping list for thieves
Exactly.
and mystery.
Exactly. In 2009, a man came forward saying he may be Stephen Damman. His name was John, something like that. It's getting late. It's getting dark.
It's getting dark.
Either way, a man came forward.
Yeah.
And the DNA turned out to be inconcise. It wasn't him. But he seemed to believe that he was the missing child. That's
Okay.
obviously.
So maybe he's been told that he was adopted from a young age. Blah blah blah.
You know what? I'm gonna need a mini light.
You're going to need a light.
I am. I'm gonna need a little light. But at one point during the first time of the investigation, investigators believed Stephen Damman was the infamous boy in the box.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah, you like that, didn't you? They thought little Stephen was the boy in the box that they found.
Oh really?
Yeah, it matched. Everything matched apart from the DNA.
The DNA.
Yeah, the DNA.
The most important thing.
Yeah, the DNA. So the boy in the box and Stephen Damman didn't match at all. So Stephen Damman.
Oh, that would have been. Okay, so I've got to choose my words.
Go
Right.
on, go on.
It would have been hugely infamous and exciting in a very dark way
Yeah.
if it was,
Yeah.
because we've literally
Yeah. I
solved
realised
two.
how annoyed you were with the boy in the box case. So I thought I'd get your hopes up.
You've done it to me again.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, however, DNA confirmed that the boy in the box and Stephen Damman didn't match at all. So Stephen Damman and his identification and location is still pretty much unsolved. No one knows who took this kid. But I think the mother is completely fucking wrong for leaving a 2-year-old and a God knows how many month-year-old daughter in a carriagey pram thing outside the shop while she goes in and shops.
Yeah.
But that kid got snatched on Halloween, which I thought was a bit like, oh. So if you've got kids, don't leave them outside of a shop. Don't wear a bunny outfit. Don't open the door to trick-or-treaters who are holding a gun and a pillowcase.
And always carry your phone. This is not turning out to be the right advice we should be giving people.
And if we have a babysitter, do a background check on the psychotic bitch.
Advanced DBS is awesome.
So there are my 4 cases. I wanted to get your hopes up for the boy in the box to upset you a little bit. The fact that the first case, obviously the family know who it was, but they had no hardcore
not
proof.
allowed to.
Yeah, and the second case, well, obviously it's she never confessed, but it was her, and Cindy Song's still singing somewhere, and no one knows what happened to the 2-year-old that was outside the shop. It's a lot to digest.
Well, yes, but that was definitely a quick fire of some very weird cases.
It was. They were the 4 that stood out to me because all the other cases that happened on Halloween were just shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolute shit. Like I don't want to know about someone like dressing up as like someone and then they found their body 4 months later in the water. That just didn't really appear to me. Interesting,
but
didn't
not
appear
really.
to me. And there was other cases which just didn't really tip the because these things can happen to anyone. And I think that's why I picked them. I thought, right, look, you could open the door to someone you don't know who could kill you, who simply doesn't like you or is a bit mental in the head. And I thought, well, if you do have a babysitter, you should really check them out first.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, if you're going to go to a Halloween party, like, keep your wits about you, basically.
Check your phone everywhere.
Yeah, and then I also thought, if you're stupid enough to leave your kid outside, you're stupid
You're
enough
stupid
to lose
enough
it.
to lose it.
Yeah.
Well, leave a comment down below. Which one intrigued you more? Maybe like #1, #2, #3, #4.
Yeah. Like I said, they're 4 everyday occurrences that could happen.
That could happen.
Yeah, like you don't have to get shot to open the door, you could get stabbed.
No.
Turn it to the British way. We don't have many guns in England, you're more likely
You
to
get
get stabbed.
beaten.
Yeah, you get beaten up and stabbed.
Beaten up and stabbed.
We don't really have babysitters, but sometimes, you know, the parents or the grandparents can go a bit funny in the head and they might take your child. You could dress up
Put
as
it down somewhere and lose it.
Yeah, you could dress up as a Playboy bunny on Halloween and get snatched.
Well, yeah, but that's in England. There's a whole different reason why.
Be more of a rape case.
Yeah.
And they'd find you.
And they'd find you in the end.
Weirdly enough, because you're British. And don't leave your kid outside.
No.
Anything can happen. It's Halloween. Keep your wits about you.
And enjoy your evening.
Yeah, and
ghosts and ghouls and pumpkins, and if you see any children, make sure that you stay with them and call the appropriate police forces
if they go missing.
if they go missing.
And if you see a Playboy bunny, ain't a prostitute.
Just keep well away.
It's not a prostitute unless you paid for it. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, like our content, and yeah, season 3 is coming very soon. So yeah, I hope everyone has a safe Halloween, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.